It felt so easy at the beginning of the season, right? You're like, "Oh, like, 2nd race out, win, 3rd race out, win, 4th race out,
Yeah,
win," and now we're like
unreal.
it's, like, really easy to take for granted having really good, exciting days on the racetrack to then go to today and be like, "Wow, you should
Yeah.
really,
Oh, I
really
mean,
appreciate."
yes. And you know what? I think sometimes when things are going real bad, you do reflect and go, "Oh, wow, we had it really good then." Welcome to Believe in the Good with Haley Dillon, the podcast where we go beyond the track and into the lives of NASCAR wives, families, and the incredible community that keeps this sport moving. I'm your host, Haley Dillon, and here we're all about the stories that fuel us. The highs, the lows, the grit, the grace, and the goodness we find along the way. So buckle up, because we're diving into real conversations, behind-the-scenes moments, and the kind of inspiration that reminds us, no matter what, there's always good to be found. So let's hit the gas and let's get into it. First of all, I want to know more about you. So we are new friends. I don't think that we have had a ton of time to talk to each other, but every time I talk to you, I've just loved talking to you. You're such a breath of fresh air, and you're just sweet, and you obviously have such a good heart, and you're just always like oh, I know I can go talk to Morgan, anytime you're
Well,
around.
thank
So
you.
yeah, so tell me a little bit about you though, because I don't know a whole lot about you. Like, where'd you grow
Okay,
up? And just tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
quick before I even tell you that, I have to tell you this because I find it, like, funny, hilarious. So,
Yeah.
a little bit about me, about you. So when we first kind of got into, like, NASCAR stuff and I started learning a little bit like, "Oh, this is this person's wife and that's that person's wife," I was like, "Oh, Haley Dillon's hair is just
Oh my God.
gorgeous." So, like,
Of
no,
all?
when you have, like, the natural, like, your natural, like, wavy, like, crimpy, like, curls going and,
Girls.
like, your hair color. So, actually, there was a hot minute in 2018 that I had blonde hair because I'm like, "I need my hair to look." It wasn't for me, it looks way better on you, but I was like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "My hair has to be blonde," and then it became way too much, and I look back at those pictures and I was like,
Stop.
who told me that was ever okay to do?"
That is okay, first of all, that's the sweetest compliment that you would ever be like,
Ugh.
"I think I'm gonna highlight my hair 'cause of," and it's funny that you would even give me a hair compliment, 'cause, like, this morning I was having this whole debacle of, like, my hair is so unwashed and everything, and so I'm just like, I don't know if you do this, but when I first get my hair colored, which was last Thursday, when I first get my hair colored, I'm like, I don't know why, but
Wait
I
as
don't
long
wanna
as
wash it.
possible.
Yes. Yeah, it's like you wanna
I'm
get
like,
as
"How
much
long
out of
can I
it.
let this go?"
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
morning I'm having this debacle. I'm like, well, I'm gonna be on, it's not like anyone can see real closely what I got going on my head, but I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing here with my hair in a clip. I'm like, whatever, but you're
Yeah.
so sweet. Thank you.
Oh, that's why I had to tell you that. I thought you might enjoy that, but that was, like, 2018. You could look back and find pictures, and it was something to
Oh my
see.
gosh. I love that. Oh gosh.
Um,
When did Christopher get into Cup? How long has he been racing Cup now?
his first year in Cup was 2020,
Okay.
but we got into, like, NASCAR stuff. He had a handful
Yeah.
of truck races in 2015, and then went full-time trucks in 16, and then we did 2 years of trucks, 2 years in
Yeah.
Xfinity, and now we're here.
Yes, because I'm like, they've been in the NASCAR world for quite a while. I was trying to pinpoint how long it's been since we've been around each other in this world. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then it's funny that you say
Yes.
2020, because no wonder, those first 2 years, 2020, 2021, were probably so
One.
weird for him too. And getting to like
Oh,
meet people and
yeah.
yeah,
It was like, wow, way to be thrown into the Cup Series and just like, here you go.
yeah,
And then it was like normal for I think 3 or 4 races. And then obviously then
yeah,
they start racing on iRacing online. They're like, well, everybody better get a computer and a steering wheel because they're gonna start
yeah.
broadcasting y'all racing on iRacing on TV because there's nothing going on in the world.
Literally racing in our master bedroom. I'm like, this is so bizarre. And then when they
Yes.
did go back racing and they were racing to no one, Ty said that was such a weird situation to have to
Oh
get
yeah.
out, get in the car, or like even when they were doing driver intros and the national anthem and stuff, because I think they
They're like,
did
don't
still
realize
do the
how much
national anthem.
noise is actually there until it's not there.
Exactly. Obviously everyone in the world was going through it, but that was such a weird time. But
Yeah.
anyway, backing up. So tell me a little bit about you. Where did you grow up, and were you always in a racing family? And did you have any,
Yes.
childhood dreams that you thought would be like, is this where you saw your life going?
This is absolutely nowhere where I saw my life going, but I did grow up in a racing family. So we grew up dirt track racing though, like sprint car
Uh-huh.
racing, which is how I met Christopher. But I grew up in Ohio, in a small little town in Ohio, and my family was always involved in racing. Like there was always a race car at our house. Like my dad was a crew chief and there was literally always a sprint car out
Okay.
back in our garage. Like there was always a race car at the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was always.
Did you
I
ever
mean,
race?
I never did. No, there was a few times that like I tried to not race, but like I tried to talk my mom and dad into like letting me fire the race car when I got older because
Yeah.
dirt cars, they don't have push start buttons. They're like they have to be push started. So
Oh, okay,
if they would
okay.
like change motors or something, and if our driver was like out of town or far away, we then have to like find another local driver to like come out to the house
You're
to
like, just
start it
let
down
me
the
do it.
driveway. I was like, I can like just teach me how, like let me do it. My mom was like, no. My mom was
Yeah.
like, absolutely not. She's not. And I'm like, it's just our backyard. It's fine.
Yeah. You're like, how bad could it be? I'll
It
just
can't
drive
get.
this,
Yeah. So no, I never personally raced, but I have been around racing in some form my whole life. So
So when you say like you didn't anticipate that this is where your life would go, did you have any sort of, what was when people were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what was sort of your childhood dream, or maybe where you saw your life going? And how have you adapted to maybe that being different than what you thought it would look like?
So it's really, really funny. Obviously, like get a little bit older, like early into high school, and everybody's always obviously like, you gotta figure out like what are you gonna do when you graduate? And I was like, man, I don't know. But then there was this school in Lima, Ohio, like a little over an hour away from where I grew up, UNOH.
UNOH.
That
Oh my gosh, you went
yes,
to UNOH?
well,
Okay.
so I never went there, but there was that school, and there was
Yeah.
actually a kid that graduated from my high school. He went there. He ended up on the 78 Cup car when it was out in Denver, and like was a
Yeah.
part of that team when Martin won the championship and all that. And I
Oh
was like,
wow.
man, I think it'd be really cool to like. I always know I wanted to do something in racing, but I was like, man, I could go to UNOH and I could actually be a PR person. So like our Nancy
Yeah.
and like everybody's PR people at the racetrack, that's what I thought I was gonna do. And honestly, more
Oh, that's
power
really
to all
cool.
of those lovely people that deal with
Yes.
our lovely people all the time. But that's what I thought I was gonna do. And then I met Christopher between my junior and senior year of high school, and everything changed.
Everything was all of a sudden that didn't seem so important anymore because you were
Yeah.
in love. So when you guys first met, you met at a dirt track then, or where
Yep.
were
So
you?
we met at one of there was two racetracks within like 40 minutes of my house, and he actually had moved to Ohio for a hot little bit and raced for a man named Rick Ferkel. And I met him at that racetrack at home. And then it wasn't even till about almost a year later. And at this point, Christopher had then moved to Indiana to race midget cars. And
Mhm.
that's when we started dating in
Okay.
2014.
So
So
did you guys meet like from social media? Like, did you guys follow each other on Instagram, or, how did it go? Because you guys
no, so
are a bit
actually, I
younger.
was
Actually, Christopher, I just realized, is 30. He's older than I was thinking, but you're young,
yes.
right?
So Christopher just turned 30 in December, and I will turn
Okay.
28 in April. So I guess next month.
Okay. Couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yes. Because I was like, And it's funny that you say that because everyone does. Well, Christopher has such a baby face, which is going to, bode very well for him. Like all men,
Yes.
Ty was always the same way. Like when we first started dating at 19, we look at those photos and I'm just like, you were such a baby. And Christopher kind of has that baby face. So, when he's like 40, he'll finally look 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you call him Chris or Christopher?
Christopher. So that's
You
actually a
do.
very funny thing is that like he prefers to be called Christopher.
Yeah.
I mean, like Adam, like our crew chief and stuff will call him Bell, and like some of the crew guys will call him Bell.
Okay.
But like it's always Christopher over Chris. And we think it's funny because most people are like, oh, if we're like buddies, like I can call you Chris. And it's like,
yeah.
That means you're not buddies with him because like you don't know that
You don't know.
he prefers
You
to
don't
be
know
called Christopher.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny because a lot of people will, on the opposite end of that, like Ty's name is legally Ty, just Ty. It's not Tyler. And so sometimes people will be like, oh, Tyler, do you want, or whatever, like addressing him. And he's like, that's not my name. I know you're trying to be like respectful and call me by my full name, but my name's actually Ty. And so, I don't know, it's just funny because he has the opposite of that.
Yeah. I did that to Kenzie Rustin. So Kenzie, well, not Rustin. It's now Hemrick. Sorry. But
right.
Kenzie. So Christopher grew up with Kenzie when she was Kenzie Rustin, and Christopher actually raced for her dad way back when in dirt cars. Yeah. And when I first met her, when we got into NASCAR stuff, and like us and Daniel did trucks about the same time, they're like, oh yeah, Kenzie. And I was like, oh yeah, Mackenzie, like thinking that they were just calling her Kenzie. And I'm like, I don't know her. And Christopher's like, her name is literally Kenzie. And I'm like, oh. Thankfully, I never called her Mackenzie to her face, but I'd be talking like and he'd be like, no, her name's really Kenzie. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no. That's funny. She has one of those names too, like Ty. It's like, it's a nickname, but it's their name. So you guys met that in between junior and senior year, and then you had met, at dirt tracks and things like that. But did you guys start talking through social media or like Facebook, or did you just talk in person? Like, how did you guys finally make that connection of like, I like you, you like me, let's date? Like, how did it start?
We met in person at that dirt track, and then it's really funny because our other friend gives Christopher so much crap, and I don't know if it's even crap to more him or me that this actually worked, but he sent me a Facebook DM, like a direct message on Facebook that just said, hey, text me, with his phone number. Okay. And I guess that worked.
Yeah, I like that.
But so you texted him. So then that was, I guess, how it started. And then we just started, obviously, texting back and forth, communicating.
What was like your first date you guys ever went on?
Our first real date that we went on, I believe, because like we were always like at the racetrack, we'd kind of like see each other a little bit. But our first non-racetrack, I guess, related date that we had went on was actually to an Olive Garden, if I remember right. A dinner date. So, but that was...
Those unlimited breadsticks got you guys.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Love Olive Garden. Truly. Actually, and when you guys, down the road have children, if you decide to have any kids one day, Olive Garden is a great place to go because they have those little iPads and play games. I mean, even for us, even when Ty and I were like younger and had no kids, we would be like playing Plants vs. Zombies on the little iPads at Olive Garden. Don't know if you've been in the last 8 years, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So you guys, like I said, we're talking about kids. You guys don't have any kids. I know you probably get that all the time about when are you guys going to have kids, but do you guys have any thoughts, or is that just something that's sort of on the back burner right now? I mean, where do you have any thoughts about that?
We definitely do want kids. It's just a matter of when, I guess, and we haven't quite figured out that timing yet. So, but we do want kids. It's just trying to work out when.
I know. Well, and he's doing so well. I mean, obviously, what an insane start to the year. So we're recording this the Monday after Homestead. We are 6 races in, and Christopher's won 50% of them.
Yes, but it is so funny that you say, like, we've won 3 of them and back to back to back, which is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy and amazing, but it is funny because racing has, like, these highest of highs, and then Homestead for us yesterday was,
Yeah, what happened? Did he blow
oh,
up?
so
Yes. No,
painful. Oh,
he
so
didn't blow up.
painful. It was no, Ryan Blaney blew up for, unfortunately, I think that's the 2nd
That's
time
right.
this year, but, yeah, we weren't super fast, ended up spinning out, and that ended up just destroying. I mean, he nosed into the inside wall, so he got the splitter a little bit, but I guess just completely destroyed the underbody of the race car, which then just you might as well have just junked it
Yeah,
anyway
yeah.
because it's done. So we had an absolute dogfight and fought tooth and nail to finish 29th, which will just make you appreciate all of the days that you do run really well. Like, it's
Yeah,
so easy to take, like, it felt so easy at the beginning of the season, right? You're like, "Oh, like, 2nd race out, win, 3rd race out, win, 4th race out,
yeah.
win," and now we're like,
Unreal.
you, like, take for granted it's, like, really easy to take for granted having really good, exciting days on the racetrack to then go to today and be like, "Wow, you should
Yeah.
really,
Oh, I
really
mean,
appreciate."
yes. And you know what? I think sometimes when things are going real bad, you do reflect and go, oh, wow, we had it really good then.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Christopher's had an unbelievable career and the start of the season is amazing, but I know what you mean. We've been extremely humbled by this sport and have obviously just a different situation. Christopher
Yeah.
is in such an amazing opportunity right now and
Yes.
will continue, but he has had such major success early on in this season. So, but it's funny how, like you say, it's almost as never good as you think it is and never as bad as you think it
Bad.
is in
Oh,
racing.
yeah.
So even,
Yeah.
you're fighting tooth and nail to get 29th. Ty had the same sort of day. He had a tire going down and had to come in, and then it was just like, well, there,
It's
throw
fine.
the
Yeah.
day, sort of, yeah,
Yeah.
just frustrating. But it is just one of those days that you kind of like write it off and you go, okay, on to next week.
Oh,
But does
yeah.
Christopher take that in, and how do you guys deal with the low moments? I mean, does Christopher have a sports therapist or something, or do you guys talk that out? What's his process when he's having a hard time? Because obviously there's so much of that that's on you as well. You're like me in the sense that you are so in it with him. Like you
Yeah.
are watching every single lap, listening, you care, you're there. You're in that car too, basically
Yeah.
is how I know I see that on you because that's not every wife. I mean, I'm that same way. I'm very invested. And
Yeah.
so when it's not going well, like when he has the day like that, that's kind of stinks and what does the week after that look like for you guys?
So the week after, he's gotten pretty good at, obviously, like, the whole flight home and, like, ride home yesterday was just very, like, quiet, just
Right.
bummed. Today, they'll have competition meeting today, so they'll go and talk about it, but then really after today, you know, Martinsville, or yeah, we're going to Martinsville this weekend, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yep. So, like,
Yeah.
Martinsville starts. So, like,
Yeah.
Monday after competition meeting, like, you know what? You have to talk about it in the competition meeting, talk about what y'all did and could do differently to make it better, and then guess what? Move on because
Yeah.
we gotta try and go do our best in Martinsville or whatever's coming next.
Yep. You turn the page and you're just on
Yeah.
to the next one and try to just sort of put your blinders on, right? For the next
Yeah.
one. Yeah. What's your favorite track and
Ooh.
why?
So I have, like, for different reasons. So I
Yeah.
always say, like, if people are like, if there's one racetrack I should go to, what is it? I always say Bristol. I think Bristol is just the
Me too.
environment of Bristol,
Yeah.
especially Bristol night race, just one of the most badass things you'll experience,
So cool.
especially if you can be, like, get in the pits, in the inside, like, you're just
Yeah.
looking up at this coliseum of people, and the cars are just always right there, and to me, the racing is just it
The
happens so
best.
much. It just happens so much faster than most tracks we go to. Like, everything's happening
Totally.
now. So
Yes,
I
I
would say
always say that
Bristol.
too. Bristol's always the one I recommend. And if you can get a taste of like both sitting on the pit box, but then also going up maybe into the grandstands and then maybe even into the suite. Like each
Yeah.
aspect is so cool at Bristol.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. And so that's funny. I say that too. Do you have another one you were thinking as well?
I
Do you
like
like the
Dover though
super
too.
speedways?
Do what?
Do you like the super speedways or do they scare you?
I'm not a super speedway fan. I don't love that I
Yeah,
feel like they all have little to no control of what's happening. Like they have control, but your control is only as much in control as the other 35 people around you. So,
absolutely.
and I mean, it's just, yeah, super speedways aren't my fave.
No.
Those are definitely the stress might become a little more pegged on super speedway days.
Oh gosh, tell me about it. Have you gotten better over the years with feeling anxious about races, or do you think it's almost worse? Or
I feel like maybe a little better. So, but again, funny story. So like dirt cars go way back. Like if you go back, they're more known to like when they crash, they like flip and it can
yes,
just look horrifically violent and it can be. We get into stock car racing. I'm like, this is great. Like, right? Like you don't flip 4,000 pound stock cars like that. You don't do it.
very rare.
And
Yeah,
Christopher's first truck race in Daytona, his first full-time season, he he rolls the truck like 13
flipped.
times at Daytona. And I was like, is this a
I didn't
joke?
know that.
Oh,
Oh,
there's actually I don't I mean they call it the bell bar on a truck. They added a
oh
new
yeah.
support bar after they like
After
looked
that
at
wreck.
his crash and like took his truck back to the R&D center. They added an extra support bar to the truck. So if you ever look at the back, if you're ever watching a truck race, and you're
Yeah,
looking at the back window of the truck and you see that like angled bar like behind where the driver sits, that's the
yeah.
bell bar. That's us.
Oh my gosh, how funny. I did not know that. And that is kind of cool in a way. He's like,
It's cool,
no
but
matter.
it's also like, wow, that was an
Yeah,
exciting night. I got to take my first ride in ambulance. I know I was panicking. I was
yeah,
panicking because I was like, I'm gonna get stuck here. Like they're gonna take him. I'm gonna get stuck at that point. We weren't even engaged. I was, what's happening? And actually,
right.
if people would have, which I was like a mess, I was crying, but I was trying to tell people, hey, whenever he crashes, like when he flips in a dirt car, something in like his equilibrium gets messed up, and like if he just needs to lay down, put his feet up, because if he tries to stand up too soon or like stand straight, he'll get dizzy and like want to pass out. So like he is
Yeah,
fine. Like he is fine. Okay?
yeah.
But it's just something that like his body needs to re-regulate. So I'm telling them, I'm like, guys, like he's not like he's fine, but he's not fine. Don't let him like let him lay down with his feet up. And
Right.
they're like, oh no, he's fine, he's fine. Sure enough, in the infield care center, they check
Like
him and
fainted?
he like throws his feet off the bed and goes to stand up and thought he was gonna pass out. And then we got to make a trip to the hospital
Actual hospital, yeah.
because they thought something was wrong. And they're like, oh, we just thought you were being really dramatic and you were like having a time. I'm like, no, I was actually trying to help
I
everybody.
know this man, okay? Maybe I actually know what he needs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So is he prone to vertigo or anything like that?
So
Have you ever
I
heard of
don't
that?
know exactly. I've heard of it, but like we can't do roller coasters. We don't ride roller coasters because if the roller coasters like
Yep.
he like passes out on roller coasters because like if they like loop de loo or whatever. So we don't do
Yeah.
that. And so it's
Oh my
funny because
gosh.
people are like, some people always get invited to do like the Thunderbirds and stuff like in the
Yep. I
airplanes.
did it once 100 years
And like
ago.
some
I think that I
people,
would pass out. Yeah.
yeah, I would. Some people are like, oh, it's the most like Amarola. He was like, that's probably one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. And I'm like, I think Christopher would be asleep
Yeah.
for the whole
He's like,
thing.
they're shaking him
Yeah,
as he lands, like,
yeah,
you can
yeah,
wake up now. He's like, well,
yeah.
that was great.
But
Oh
yeah,
my gosh, that is interesting. I haven't been that way my whole life, but I just in the last 6, 7 years, actually, ever since I got pregnant with my first, I now get car sick, and I get kind of like that equilibrium will be off. And
Interesting.
so who knows, maybe that triggered something in my brain to suddenly
Maybe.
mess with me,
Slow down.
Right. Yeah, right. But it's probably my brain or my body protecting itself, like, hey, you have kids now, don't be going on roller coasters and in
Yeah.
Firebird
Yeah.
jets. So you guys live on the lake, Lake Norman?
Yep.
Yeah.
We do.
Are you guys lake life people? Do you have a boat? Do you get out and do all
So
that jazz?
it's very funny. We actually just got a boat last year in like early July. But
Fun.
before then, we had lived on the lake almost 2 to 3 years prior to getting a boat. And I was always like, we need a boat. We need a boat. It's so much fun. Like sunset cruise, like anything, like just we need a
Yes.
boat. We live on the lake. And Christopher's like, that's dumb. Like, why would we do that? So we actually go out. We went out with the Nemecheks on their boat in like June-ish time for John
Yeah.
Hunter's birthday. And within 2 weeks, we had a boat. I was
Right.
like,
He's like, oh, that is
it,
fun.
yeah. And then he was like, I was like, so do you love the boat? He goes, my only regret about the boat is not getting it when we moved to this house. And I was like, oh,
Oh my
really?
gosh.
I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
So he thoroughly enjoys it. Something fun because it's hard to have or find hobbies that you can do throughout the week that maybe aren't racing
Yeah.
related to get away just a little bit from,
Right.
you have a bad, like, it's obviously too cold now, but like, you have a bad weekend, like, go on the boat and just like forget
Yeah.
about what happened and have
Totally.
fun.
Just cruise
So,
around. There is something about it. We had a boat for years, and then during COVID, when everyone wanted a boat, I was pregnant, and I just was like, we could probably sell this thing for what we bought it for, and we actually
yeah,
sold it for more because everybody wanted them. So anyway,
yeah.
currently we don't have one, but there is something about that that's very fun,
Oh, yeah.
and just sort of takes you away from the racing world. So how do
Yeah.
you guys get to and from the racetrack? And then do you have a motorhome that you stay in each weekend?
Yeah. So we have a motorhome that goes to every racetrack that allows motorhomes, obviously like
Yeah.
Chicago
Yeah.
street course and that you can't have them. But we do have a motorhome. We absolutely love having our space. It's like your bed, it's like your bed away from home. So it's like always just the
The
same.
best. Yeah.
And then we always fly team plane with the team to the races every weekend. And then thankfully, you think team planes will spoil you. Thankfully, coach has been gracious enough that like most of the time there's room for us on coach's personal plane to go
Yeah.
home on.
That's
So we've
so
been going
cool.
home with coach, which will just, it's like always so grateful for it. You don't
What a
realize,
surreal.
and trust me, team plane flying is still a million times better than
Yeah,
commercial flying. Like
totally.
team team plane flights over commercial flights every
Always.
time.
Yes, we've talked a lot about the flying situation with a lot of the girls that I have talked to, and yes, that's so cool that you get to fly with him. So, for anyone listening that doesn't know the racing world, Coach Joe Gibbs,
Yep.
he was a football
Yeah.
coach for years, and now he's a team owner in NASCAR, and that is who Christopher races for. He's obviously a legend.
Yes.
Do you guys get to talk to him on so how big is his plane? I mean, what
His
can
plane,
you tell us about it?
it's like 4 seats that face each other in the front, and then there's 4 seats off to one side, like they sit around a table in the back, and then there's a couch. So you
Okay,
can
yeah.
fit it. I think you can fit
Probably
like
10.
11.
Okay, yeah.
11's tight. 10's like probably the most comfortable so that you're
Yeah.
not 3 deep on the couch, because 3 deep on the couch can just be a lot.
I did that on the way home.
Yeah, it depends how far you're flying though. Like
Yeah.
sometimes like they fly to, Atlanta. It's like a 40-minute flight. So we had the plane absolutely packed. coming home
Right.
from Atlanta because it's, 40 minutes. If
It's
we all
quick.
can't snuggle up for 40 minutes, then, it's fine.
Yeah, if you're going to complain about this private plane flight of 40-minute flight, then, you
Yeah.
can get off.
Yeah. But no. But even it's always funny because the team planes that we fly on are still, they look like a commercial. They are just commercial
Yep.
aircrafts. But it's the process of getting onto the airplane and
Oh,
just the simplicity of
exactly. Being able to
just,
go, here's
you just
my
walk.
ID,
Yeah, you
and
just
you
walk
walk
straight
on.
up, flash them your license, and take your seat. And they're
Exactly.
not constantly picking at you for like, shove your bag further under the seat. And I'm like,
All the protocol.
all the protocols that I'm like, listen, if this plane crashes, you know what? This ain't my bag being all the way into the seat in front of me isn't saving us.
Isn't that such a weird concept when you're flying commercial and they're
Oh
giving
yes.
you, yeah, I'm like, if this plane's going down, we're screwed. I mean,
Like we're
I don't know.
all
It is kind of scary though, because, you do hear all these things about the flights lately. So it is a little bit
oh yeah.
weird, but you really can't, you kind of, for how much we have to fly with racing,
Oh yeah.
you really have to it has to kind of, you have to get over it. You have to sort of check out and not think about those things because it's like, we don't have any choice, right? I mean,
Oh
you
yeah.
have to fly to
Yeah.
these tracks. So
So
when
yeah.
you're flying with Gibbs, does he have like food on the plane? And are you ever like eating ribs on a private jet and you're like, this is the coolest thing
So
ever?
like actually we're just coming home from Homestead. There was actually canes. They had a bunch of like boxes of
Oh,
canes, like Raising Canes. So like
so good.
canes won't be on the team plane, but that'll be on coaches. So like we normally
Yeah.
eat fairly good and on coach's plane. Or sometimes if we're further out west, they'll have In-N-Out on the airplane. So
That's what we did. We did In and Out on the way home. We flew with Richard and
yep.
from Vegas. And I don't know what wild hair he got, but they actually had food ready. And then Richard on the way from the track to the plane was like, let's get In and Out. So we were eating In and Out on the plane. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So do you guys, speaking of, food and everything, do you cook? Does Christopher cook? Are you guys like adventurous eaters, picky eaters?
So we're fairly picky eaters,
Okay.
and I cook majority of the time. Actually, sometimes we'll go out to eat and then we're just like, oh, like we could have made it better at home.
Yeah.
I normally cook at home majority of the time. Although I don't know if you've ever been to 131 Main
Oh,
in
yes. I
Cornelius.
mean, everything. What do you order when you go there?
If I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna get a kale quinoa salad with grilled chicken.
So good.
I think I could eat that every day. I don't know if I would get sick of it.
Yeah.
And it is so good. It is just so good, and you feel good when you eat it. And I'm like,
Mhm.
and that's the one thing. Like a lot of things I can try my hardest to attempt to duplicate at home,
Yeah.
but that I can't duplicate that salad. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna go to 131 because I'm craving a kale and quinoa salad from
That is such
131.
a good idea. Like, I'm ready to get a babysitter so I can go to 131 Main tonight because that place is definitely one of our faves. I like so many things on their menu, but they also have this sort of Asian noodle. It has mangoes. I don't know. It's like a salad
I
thing.
don't remember the name of it. Yes, we went out to eat with somebody. It's like that right there, so far out of mine and Christopher's comfort zone. Like we're not ordering that, but we did go out to eat. We did go out to eat with Tyler Gibbs and his wife. He's the president of Toyota now, and she ordered. I'm pretty sure that's what she ordered. It's like noodles and just has a bunch of stuff in it. And she was like, "It's
Yeah.
so good," and I'm like, "I'll take your word for it."
Okay, that's so funny. Well, they also, yeah, so many good things. They also have like fun cocktails and stuff. Do you guys drink? Do you have like a signature go-to drink that you
We
get?
actually do not drink at
You don't
all.
drink? Okay, well, good.
Neither of us do. No. So the funny thing is actually when Christopher won the Roval, whenever you win any race at Charlotte, they make like a super big deal out of it. And they like take you up to the Speedway Club after Victory Lane. And we didn't know this, but they do a champagne toast. So like all these people pay to like eat at the Speedway Club, and like there's fans in there, and like
Yeah.
Marcus Smith is like doing this toast, and they hand Christopher this glass of champagne, and here he is taking his first ever drink of alcohol and champagne on a
That was
stage
the
in
first
front of all
drink
these
he
people.
ever had. Oh my gosh. So you guys just maybe have just made the choice not to drink, or you're just not
Yeah,
interested
we
in
just
it?
like honestly, I mean, some people are like, oh, like if like if they're gonna go to a wedding or something, they're like, oh, like before I dance or like get on the dance floor, like I like give me a minute, like I need a couple. So
Yeah.
Christopher and I had a dry wedding, and I
Oh,
don't care.
wow.
Like I'ma still act a fool,
Yeah,
whether like it doesn't bother me. So,
definitely.
and we just haven't had no extreme desire
Desires
or
to do it.
want. But honestly, for me, like the smell of alcohol to me is very off-putting. So
Yeah.
like sometimes if race fans that have already been having fun get a little too close, I'm like, I can
Yep.
smell you, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting that you guys don't drink, and good for you. I think that that's
Yeah.
very commendable. And we're not big drinkers, but we do. But it's funny, I've never asked it.
Obviously, it's hard not to not like wine with RC having the vineyards and
Yes.
everything.
He does have a winery, and his wine is great. In case
Yeah.
anyone's looking for a good winery to go to in Lexington, North Carolina, it is gorgeous. And also, if you don't drink, I don't know, have you ever gone to the winery? Or, sorry, you got married at the winery? No.
No, we did not. I think
Okay,
did
wait.
Marissa and Chase get married? Did Marissa
Yes,
and
they
Chase get
did.
married at the winery?
That's
They
what
did.
suddenly
Yeah.
as I was saying that, I was like, she got married there, but that's right. It was
I
Marissa.
think it might
And
have been Marissa and Chase. But yeah.
well, even if you don't drink, it is an amazing place to go for lunch, or just to walk around. The vineyard is beautiful. But
Yeah.
when did you guys get married? How long have you been married now, and where did you get married?
So we got married in Elkin, North Carolina, so about an
Okay.
hour north of us here in Mooresville. But we got married actually February of 2020, so right before the crazy hit. Like,
Literally like a week before.
well, so when we got married February 2nd, so it was
Oh,
about a
right,
month.
Groundhog Day. Did you
Yeah.
ever watch Groundhog Day?
No, I still haven't watched it. No, I
Okay,
still
you
have not
have to
watched it,
watch.
but
So for the listener, Morgan hadn't even known about Groundhog Day, and you still have not watched it. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's the first movie Ty and I ever watched together, and it is so
oh,
funny. It's oldie moldy. I mean, it's probably from like 1989 or something, but it's very good. It's a classic. So anyway, you got married February 2nd in the mountains
yes.
ish.
So we were actually, it was at Coley Hall. So it was actually like a very old tobacco company. So like the front
Okay.
of it is actually like a restaurant, and they have like the back of it is this whole like rusticy, like there's market lights hanging in the ceiling of the rafters in this place.
Right.
It was actually a place that our friends got married at, and I was like, that is gorgeous. Like that is
Yeah.
actually where I would prefer to get married. Like it's really pretty. So that's where we got married.
Yeah.
We got married in February of 2020. Thankfully, before the craziness of 2020 hit, because my heart broke for all of those people that put all the time and effort into their weddings, for then all of it to just be wrecked, crushed
Yeah. That
by
was something
COVID.
that was such a unbelievable thing, was the weddings. I mean, for everyone's weddings that were canceled that spring that had to reschedule. I mean, yeah, you really
Yeah.
missed the cutoff by 1 month. I mean, you were
Yeah.
so close to that. Well, you had a fun wedding though, and a dry wedding.
Yes.
Was it big? Did you have like a big crowd, or do you guys have big
No, so
families?
we kept it fairly small, and I think there was only about 70 to 75-ish people at our
Oh,
wedding.
wow.
So it was pretty small, but most all the people that were important to us were there, and that's all
Yeah.
that mattered to us. And I will say, though, the wedding guest list, it's it is a tough one because it's like where is the line get
Yep.
drawn as to like who makes the like who gets invited, who doesn't? Where does the line fall? So
Oh, so
we
true.
because it can get out of hand pretty quick if you don't draw the
Yeah,
line somewhere.
we didn't know where that line was. And then I think we had some wedding crashers as well when we got married. But yeah,
Because when did you and Ty get married? What?
we have been married 10 years this past December. We got married in 2014 at the winery, Richard's Winery, in December 20th, 2014. And yeah, like you say, drawing that line, but it was difficult. So do you have a big family? Do you have any siblings? Are you close with your family?
So I'm close with my family, but it's just me.
Okay.
It's just me. I'm an only child. Christopher has two sisters that are a fair amount older than him. They're both 10 and 14 years older than he is.
Oh, wow.
So, but yeah, I love spending
You
time
kind of feel
with
like only
family.
kids, both of you then.
Yeah, so he actually for the most part like his oldest sister, he's like I honestly don't remember ever really living with her because she moved out when he was 4. So,
Right.
he's
Yeah.
like I really have no memory ever really living with Catherine. He obviously has memories living with his other sister some, but he definitely has a slight feeling of only child a little bit just because his sisters were
Yep.
so much older.
Yeah,
But
yeah. That's a unique when you have a big age gap like that. I have a little sister that's 14 years younger than me, and we are very close, but
who looks like your twin, by the way. Every time you post a picture of Dakota, I'm like, is this not just Haley copy and pasted like right
I
here?
know. I know. She looks so much like I did. And I'm like, I don't know if she likes that or what, but I'm just like, Dakota, everybody thinks for a long time, people thought that she was my child. And I'm like, no, she physically wasn't like capable, I wasn't a
Yeah.
woman yet. I couldn't have even birthed this baby. But yeah, it is funny though. She's like copy paste.
She is.
So does your family still live are you guys all in North Carolina now? Or
My parents moved down to North Carolina. Shoot. I guess it's probably been a little over 2 years now they've lived down here. It doesn't feel like that long, but I guess it has been. My parents are here. All the rest of my family is mostly in Ohio. Christopher's family all still lives well, one of his sisters and his parents, they live in Oklahoma still, and then his other sister lives in Texas. So they're
okay.
all out that way still. But
Okay. Do you guys do your parents go to many of the races? Like is racing something that they're still very into or
oh yeah, so my parents now when they came down here, my dad bought micros and
Okay.
he runs a rental business to take kids like out to Millbridge and stuff. So
Wow,
they're
that's so
also
cool.
very into racing, and my parents will still go to like a lot of the really big sprint car races because people will still call my dad to come help crew chief and like work on their sprint cars. So my parents still go and do that, and they try to go to a fair amount of the NASCAR races as long as they don't already like have plans or have committed to go help somebody at another race. They'll go to like most all the races that you can drive to, which is a good handful of races for us.
So I'm curious, outside of racing, because obviously it's so much time and effort and all of the things that we do as wives following the racing circuit for our husbands. But outside of racing, what is Morgan into? Like, what are you passionate about? Even if it's just like, I have this show that I'm really into right now, or, do you have any hopes and dreams for yourself of what you see your next, goals for your next 10 years? Like, tell me a little bit more about you and like what kind of lights your heart on fire outside of the racing world.
So actually last year I got myself into the sourdough craziness. So
Love it.
that's very somehow like therapeutic to me to do that. Um
Totally.
Christopher laughs at me. He says I have a lot of old lady habits. And I'm like, I can't help that.
Are you
I
still
do.
sourdoughing? Like, are you still having to feed your
Oh,
starter?
oh, oh yeah. Like I don't know the last time that we've really bought bread
Oh my
in like a
gosh, I
year.
need to start getting my bread from you. I have not started the sourdough craze, and if you got any extra loaves, I will meet you and get
So,
it.
I mean, literally every weekend too, like I get on the plane and I bring a loaf of bread with us every weekend to the races.
Stop. That is so awesome.
So like I always have there's actually I even put bread in the like there's even like frozen loaves in our freezer in the motorhome in
Yeah.
case in case we go through one too quick on the weekend, or I
Oh
didn't
my
get like
gosh.
happen to not get time to bake one to take with us for the weekend because I just
You've
discovered that.
done you do I feel like I remember you seeing where you were trying some different types, right? Like jalapeno
Yeah, I
cheddar or
always
like cinnamon roll type or something, what's your fave?
honestly, like I always try and make inclusion loaves and like add stuff to it. And then I always go back to just like, honestly, you can't beat a plain loaf of sourdough bread that just warm, toasted with a little bit of butter on it.
Um,
To me, that's like, if you want cinnamon on it, like honestly, just make some cinnamon honey butter or something, then and put it on like a regular loaf because that's one thing. I feel like you add stuff to the loaves. Like I've even made like double chocolate sourdough loaves. And like they look and almost smell like they should taste like a brownie. And you
Uh-huh.
honestly eat it and there's like not that much of anything to it. So then it's just like
Yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah,
So
you're
I'm like,
like, "Get
well,
that right, just don't go through the trouble, make the regular loaf, and then add chocolate on top," or whatever it
yeah,
may
put
be.
some Nutella on it. It's fine. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoy doing that. Honestly, we like to always try and go to dinner with friends whenever we're home. I do force Christopher. My love language is like in the evenings to sit and like I enjoy sitting and like watching a show. So I have roped him in to watching Love is Blind with me.
Love
Um,
it. Are you on the current season? I think it's season 8?
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I when you posted that you knew from when they did
Yeah.
the Charlotte season, was that just last season, I think?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is kind of neat." Like these people, I had never heard of Love is Blind. We're not super big
Yeah.
Netflix people. We weren't. And then I was like,
Yeah.
we got scrolling through. I was like, wow, there's so much stuff to watch, documentaries, anything.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, like something I like to do for fun. I like to sit and like watch shows. So I do drag Christopher into the Love
Is
is
he
Blind
into it?
rabbit hole. He
Does
gets
he
into
like
like
it?
he attaches himself to like certain couples. So like it's really funny because he'll like be on his phone and then all of a sudden like you hear the voices of like whatever couple he likes and then all of a sudden it's this. And I'm like you have to watch all of it. You can't
Yeah.
just pick and choose the couples you like and want to watch.
We
But
had
it's
never watched it until my friend AD was gonna be on it, and so then I watched that season for the first season I ever watched, and
yeah,
then it was such an interesting show. I mean, I it wasn't until I had a friend that was on it that I gave it a chance, and then I
yeah.
got so sucked into, like, the concept of it, and I think I've watched every season except this latest one that's come on. I'm not caught up, but it's good. Something about it.
Yeah. I haven't I think I use it as like all of the previous seasons before the Charlotte season 7. I use as like I'll download on my iPad and it'll be like my plane show. So I'm
Yeah.
almost done with season 2, but it does get very confusing when you're trying to watch 2 seasons like cuz Christopher and I are currently watching like the current season
Yeah.
8 and like I've got season 2 and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, this person. This is what they do. This is what they're like."
So you guys like lay in bed and watch Love is Blind, or is this like
It's a couch. So that's the
on
thing,
the
like,
couch?
we don't
Yeah.
really yeah, we don't really watch TV in bed, like, that's not our thing, but I don't know if it's a I don't know why. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have our spots, we get our cozy spots on the couch, and we, turn it on, and Watch Love is Blind.
I love that. I feel like that's already the answer to my next question, but like, what is something else maybe about you and Christopher that people wouldn't know? Is there anything that like people are surprised to find out about you guys, or just something unique that you'd want to share about yourselves?
We're pretty like, we don't live a normal life, but I feel like we're fairly like normal people, I guess. I don't know, like
Yeah.
very normal, boring people outside of what he does for a job.
Noah, you know what? That's refreshing. I like it.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't seem like any type of prima donna tendency. Like he seems pretty much just like a get in the car and do his thing kind of guy. And you are so chill too. So I think that it's interesting, like you say, you guys live a very abnormal life for his career,
Yeah.
but you guys are just very down to earth people.
Yeah, like I love like so since he's thankfully been allowed to go back dirt racing. So what I
Mhm.
did when he dirt raced, honestly, you make merchandise. Like that's the significant other's like kind of job, I guess if you will.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy that. I like communicating with the t-shirt company to help nitpick the designs that they draw and do, and then order the shirts and sell them. So like when we
Yeah.
went to Chili Bowl, we set up in somebody else's trailer, and it was so funny and odd to me that so many people came up to the trailer and they were like, "Why are you here selling this?" I'm like,
Why
why
wouldn't I
would
be?
why
Yeah.
wouldn't I be? But I feel like there's so many there's other drivers' wives that like I don't know if it's they purely don't enjoy it, or if they I don't know if it's they don't enjoy it or if they feel like they're above doing it. But
Yeah.
all of these race
You like
fans were like
thoroughly
so
enjoy.
like they like looked at me and they were like, "Wait, you're his wife and you're selling his t-shirts?" And I was like, "Yeah, is that not normal? Like I feel
Yeah,
like that
this
should be the
is my
normal thing."
man. I want to
Yeah,
sell
like
his
I don't know,
shirt.
like that's I
Yeah.
thought that was the normal thing to do, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
love
know.
that. I think that's so fun. So do you have a
It's even
running website or anything for that? Because I can link that if you do.
so no, we don't. When he got out of dirt racing a little bit, there wasn't a whole bunch shirts to like really make anymore because obviously all the NASCAR stuff, the licensing and everything is just
Yeah.
atrocious and a nightmare. So that's all somebody else's job now. But it's even
Yeah.
funny with like Larson's high limit sprint car series that we'll run sometimes. One of my good friends, her husband races in it. So when we were just out in Vegas and we raced the high limit show, like I was out there obviously all the nights that we attempted to race, but the weather was just horrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even Saturday when Christopher didn't race and he just went up in the booth and like announced, I
Yeah.
still went and like I helped Megan sell t-shirts. I helped Megan sell Rico t-shirts. Like that's actually something that I thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoy doing.
That's so fun. Have you had a job outside of, I mean, did you ever have a job like working retail or anything like that?
I never worked retail like other than I guess at the dirt track, but
Yeah, that definitely
funny
is.
enough, when Christopher raced trucks, I had a job and I actually worked at Butler Built, the company that builds the race car seats, because I
Yeah.
was struggling actually to find a job that was understanding. Like, I'm like, listen, I don't really want to get a job and then be stuck at home all weekend. And
Yeah.
like most retail, like if you're going to go into an American Eagle or
Right.
something and try and get a job, the time when we need to be gone is like the
When
time
they
they
want
need
you
you.
working.
Yeah, the time they
Exactly.
need more people to work.
They're
So
busiest time.
I worked at Butler Built for a handful of years, or for probably a couple of years, and I helped put
Did you enjoy it?
no, but it was something that there's things
Yeah.
in life I guess you have to do that you don't always love to do. But I helped put foam in the seats. Majority of the time I learned how to sew on a sewing, like an industrial sewing machine, because I would
Love it.
actually make the seat covers that went on the seats.
I love that.
So
It keys in perfectly with your sourdough. Now you know how
oh
to
yeah,
sew on a sewing machine.
oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, that was That was the one, I
It's a
guess.
valuable thing to know how to do, though.
Yes. But the problem is people are like, oh, so you can sew. Like, can you fix this? And I was like, yeah, I can't needle and thread it, but I could figure out how to work a sewing machine. Can you bring me
Yeah.
one? Like, I could probably figure it out. It's been a little bit, but I could probably
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. That's interesting though that you worked there. Gosh, you have been so fully immersed in the racing world. That is really, really cool.
Always.
So, what is like your guys' week like outside? Like what does this week look like? What's a typical week in your household? And, you guys don't have kids. Is it like, do you still make it a priority to do a quote date night? I always ask people that. And, typically it's to get away from your children. But, do you sometimes it's something we have to prioritize and make sure we
Yeah.
make a day for. So you call it a date night. But, obviously you guys, like, what does your week look like on a day-to-day basis?
Our weeks always look a little different. Normally, Monday is Christopher's busy day that he spends probably about half the day or a little more at JGR at the shop, talking to Adam and his engineers, and then going in and doing the competition meeting with all the other teams. But it can just really depend. Like, this week is actually very quiet, very, very laid back. I feel like there for a hot minute, like he went to Mexico for when NASCAR took a handful or a couple of the drivers to Mexico to help promote the Mexico race. And then we had some other appearances that we had scheduled that we went to Texas. And like I actually got to go with him to Texas for that appearance. And that was fun. Like that's something that's not normal,
Yeah.
like bring your wife to work day. But Texas was like, well, wait, like does Morgan want to come? Like Morgan can come. And I was like, I'll go. Like that's
Okay.
fun, different.
Yeah.
We definitely always try and do dinner with like a lot of our friends at least one or so nights of the week. And really we're both just homebodies. I guess we do so much traveling or go do so much stuff that sometimes like we just thoroughly enjoy sitting on the couch
Yeah.
and doing nothing.
I totally get
So
that. That's so true. And that is so us too. And we'll have friends that'll be like, hey, we're planning a trip. And I'm like, you guys have fun. Because
you have fun on that trip.
you know,
We are gonna go on a trip on our off week
oh
with
yeah,
our
what are you
one
going to do?
friends. So we are going to Antigua. Don't ask me the name of the
Ooh,
resort that we're staying at because I don't remember. Our one
very
friend,
cool.
she found it all and she was like, hey, do you guys want to go? And we're like, why not? We'll go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So super easy for us because she planned,
So fun.
majority of like where we're going. But once we get there, I don't know what exactly we're going to do. I think the boys, they want to go golf at least a day, but there's, I think, pickleball at the resort. And obviously, probably we'll have plenty of beach time and
Yeah.
lounging, doing nothing but soaking up sun time.
Right. Oh, well, that sounds like so much fun. And that's only a couple weeks away. That's one of those things we were discussing. Should we try and go somewhere? But I think we're going to have a little staycation for that one. But
Hey, that's always nice though.
I know, like you say, we're homebodies too. And sometimes you got to just soak it in when you can because it's just
Yeah.
a lot traveling every weekend.
Yeah.
Well, we're off to Martinsville this weekend. Do you guys stay or do you drive back and forth?
We normally stay. Sometimes
Yeah.
it depends on like what time practice qualifying, like if it makes sense and like what time you have to be there the next day. So I guess it
Yeah.
just more depends schedule wise. But like the motorhome, even if we don't stay, the motorhome will still be there because that's even the nice thing of having the motorhome there
The
is
home
even
base.
if you're
Yeah.
not staying there, it's home base. Then you can eat your own food that you make pre-race and all of that stuff. So just
Yeah.
keeping a constant like schedule and thing going
For sure.
pre-race is always nice.
It is nice. We kind of try to treat Martinsville as a home race in a way. Like Ty typically drives back and forth the last few years just because, like we said, we're kind of homebodies. So we kind of
Yeah.
try to be home as much as, like, we try to treat that as a home race. But many years we took our motorhome and it's nice. And it's always unpredictable. We've been there and it has snowed, and we've been there when it has been, sunny and beautiful, but Martinsville is kind of a weird time of year where it's very unpredictable.
Yeah, it could be really cold or it could be really nice.
Yeah. Well, this was really fun talking to you. I really
It
appreciate you
was.
coming on, and we can do this again for sure. And I just want you to know that you've got someone in your corner at the track. I'm happy for you guys. And
Thank
Christopher
you.
has had an amazing start to his career, and I know he's got a long, long, successful career ahead of him too. And it's just really cool to see you supporting him. And I think that the next 10 years are going to look so different and cool for you guys, and you have so much ahead of you. So I just want you to know that you got someone in your corner, and maybe we're the 8 years ahead of you guys on the whole kids front and all of that jazz. But yeah, we're excited for you guys and always sort of rooting for you behind the scenes. So thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
on.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thanks, Morgan, and good luck this weekend.
Same to you guys.
Thank you. And that's a wrap on today's episode. I'm so grateful you spent this time with us. It means the world that you're here. And if you loved this conversation, make sure you check out the show notes for all the links and any resources we mentioned. I would love it if you followed me over on Instagram and YouTube. This is where I like to share things about my life, little tidbits about our family. And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, the best way to say thank you is by sharing with a friend, leaving a review, and rating the show. It helps this conversation reach more people who believe in the good. See you next week.